Today is a very auspicious day, Ekadashi Tithi, Bhim Nirjala Ekadashi Tithi. We are observing to satisfy Krishna, to get his service, and do more on Ekadashi. Krishna will be more pleased. And we are hearing his mercy to Arjuna. The day before yesterday we finished chapter 7, and there is the gist of this chapter 7. The growth of Bhakti Yoga based on Shraddha, firm faith, is in this wise. When a jiva comes in contact with a sadhu, a saint who has realized the absolute person and can make others realize him, he is conversant with the following truths, viz. Shri Krishna is the Supreme Lord and is the one reality without a second. He is the only God of love, beauty, truth and harmony. His spiritual deeds in human form are done under the influence of his Yoga Maya or Chit Shakti. A Jiva world as well as this material universe are manifestations of his Jiva potency and Mayic potency respectively. A Jiva's bondage is due to his attachment for sense objects born of Mayic potency. See, this Maharaj used he. Jiva's bondage is due to his attachment. To sense objects born of Mayic potency, and emancipation from this bondage of Maya is only possible when he, means Jiva, begins to worship the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna by means of Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion, through the grace of Shri Krishna and the spiritual preceptor. He is then convinced of the ineptitude of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Brahma Gyan, Paramatma Gyan, and the trivial pursuits of Salokya or equal realm, Sarshti, equal pomp, Samipya, vicinity, and Sayujya, identity with Godhead. A Jiva can attain perfection in his sadhana if he takes recourse to Shravan, Kirtan, and Smaran, with the full knowledge that he is the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord of all beauty, all love, all truth, and all harmony. Such a firm faith with the true conception of self and of Godhead is known as Shraddha, which is the foundation stone of all religious practices based on Bhakti Kalpa. First, Shraddha is there. Without Shraddha, this firm belief, by serving Krishna you serve all. By serving Krishna everything is done. Without this Shraddha, Bhakti cannot start. And this Shraddha can only awaken when one gathers enough Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. Through Sadhu Sangha or any other devotional act, if you come in touch, then Shraddha first has to appear. Then Shraddha will take you to associate with those who are worshipping Krishna, Sadhu Sangha, and then under their guidance we can do. Then questions and answers in this chapter. What is meant by Brahman, Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhuta, Adideva, and Adi Agya. Shlokas 3 and 4. It is not. I think this was in. This is for previous. There is some mistake, it seems. Chapter 7. Oh, this is questions and answers for chapter 8. But where is the chapter 8? And there is some, 1 second, something is wrong here. Yes. It says here, some printing mistake, that chapter 9 will start, but actually the 8th chapter is starting. Wait, let me see what is in the 9th chapter. Maybe it is there. The summary. Yes, there is some. Now I found the questions to chapter 7. This is some old printing, there was some mistake. So, question and answers to chapter 7, which we are now hearing. By what practice of yoga transcendental knowledge about Godhead is acquired? Shloka 1 of the 7th chapter. By what yoga? The Supreme Lord said, listen, O Partha, how I might be fully known with mind steadfastly attached to me, engaged in Vijnana Yoga, and enshrined in me. By Vijnana Yoga, that when one realizes, means is serving Krishna. What knowledge enables one to have a complete knowledge of everything? I shall tell you the principle of transcendental knowledge regarding my graceful personality in details, knowing which nothing more in this world will remain to be known by you. When one realizes Bhagavan, and Bhagavan means everything, his all potencies, everything, then there is nothing more to be known. Who are entitled to acquire a true knowledge of Godhead? Among the thousands of human beings, one tries to attain perfection in eternal bliss. Among the thousands of human beings who have attained the perfect bliss, hardly one knows me in my prime essence. So those who try to attain eternal bliss, he can get. What are known as Paraprakriti and Aparaprakriti? This I know. Aparaprakriti means 8 material elements, 5 gross, 3 subtle, and Paraprakriti means Jiva. What is the majestic aspect of the Supreme Lord in the phenomenal world? That He is the taste of water and those things. Yes, I am the cause of everything, the cause of Jiva, the cause of this world, the cause of creation, sustenance and destruction of this world, and nothing is superior to Him, nothing exists independent of Him, and He is the taste of the water and all the good of everything, Om of the Vedas, sound in the ether, virility in the mankind, all this we heard, strength of the strong. Who can surmount the insuperable Maya? This also I remember. One who will surrender to Krishna and to Him alone. What sorts of men do worship the Lord? Those who have Sukriti, 4 types, those who are distressed, who want some worldly amelioration, those who are inquisitive, and those who are Gyanis. Who is superior to the above 4 classes of devotees, and what are his traits? Superior is Jnani. Why? Because he does not have non-eternal desires for non-eternal things. That is why he can easily and quickly get more pure revelation of Supreme Lord than the others. What are the real motives of worshipping gods other than the Supreme Lord? Some worldly benefits, fruitive, some. What results are attained by the worship of minor gods? Non-eternal material results. Why is the real form of the Supreme Lord always hidden from the gaze of the fallen souls? Because he is covered or enveloped by his Yogamaya. So they are unable to understand unless they submit to him. Why do not the ignorant recognize the eternal beautiful form of the Lord? Because of Yogamaya, veil of Yogamaya, and they are not submitting to Krishna. Both Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad saw Nrsimha Bhagavan. Even though Nrsimha Bhagavan is like not ordinary form, and also he appeared in a wonderful, miraculous way out from pillar, but still Hiranyakashipu could not recognize, although directly seeing him with his eyes. Prahlad could understand, but Hiranyakashipu could not. Or Krishna, Kamsa could not realize who is Krishna because of lack of surrender. Who are eligible for devotional path, or who worship the Lord with firm faith and devotional fervor? 28. Those whose lives have been purged of all sins by dint of their virtuous deeds, worship me with firm determination, freed from the worldly opposites and infatuation. They are eligible. Who can recognize the blessed Lord at the time of their departing from this world? Those who realize me as the presiding deity of Adibhuta and Adideva and of Adiyagya, means Adibhuta means mortal beings, Adideva means Virat Purusha, universal form, and Adiyagya, that is Antarjami, Paramatma. Those who realize Krishna as presiding deity of all these are enabled to know me as eternal, beautiful Shyamasundar form at the time of their departure from this world, if they fix their minds on me. So this was end of chapter 7. Now chapter 8, summary. Taraka Brahma Yoga, or the principle of the devotional service to the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord says that the eternal and unchangeable form of Akshara is Parabrahman, or the eternal all-being intelligence, blissful Shyamasundar form. Akshara is that which does not deviate or fall down. Kshara, jivas, they can fall down. So Akshara is Parabrahman. The Lord then explains the terms Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhuta, and Adideva. He who remembers the Supreme Lord at the time of death surely attains to his blissful realm. But he who meditates on a particular being or thing at the time of death attains to that being or thing in the next birth. Like a deer, Bharat Maharaj became deer, that we know from Shastra. The Lord then explains that Akshara or Param Purush is attainable by means of deep contemplation and unswerving attention, coupled with constant practice in uttering the Vedic mantra Om and remembering the holy name as one and the same with the Supreme Lord. He then makes a distinction between Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, and Shuddha Bhakti, or unadulterated, single-minded, and loving devotion. All the worlds, including Brahmaloka, are subject to this cyclic law, transmigration. But he who takes absolute shelter in him and clings to the cult of pure bhakti is absolved from its operation up to Brahma, that is cycle of karma. But one who takes to devotion, he can go above this. He is absolved from its operation, goes above karma. During the night of Brahma, all beings and things dissolve into avyakta prakriti, and when the day of Brahma dawns, they spring out from it. There is another substance which is not destroyed at cataclysm. This is known as the Akshara Brahman. Again, 1 second. Yes, again, I will have to find the proper page, because here the summary of chapter 9 is coming. Yes, now I found. This is known as the Akshara Brahman, or unchangeable Param Purusha, residing in the eternal blissful realm known as Vaikuntha, whence there is no return. Then the Lord proceeds to mention the fate that befalls those that die during Uttarayana, or the northern path of the sun, and Dakshinayana, or the southern path of the sun. But those who follow the cult of pure bhakti unconditionally and unreservedly are not subject to this fate, but they attain to the highest ultimate end of divine love in his blissful realm. Now this will start. Arjuna Uvach. Kim tad Brahma, kim adhyatmam, kim karma purushottama, adibhutam cha kim proktam, adidevam kim uchyate. Arjuna said, O Purushottama, what is meant by each of the terms Brahman, Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhuta, and Adideva, because Krishna mentioned in previous chapter. So he's asking what Krishna meant. Adiyagya katam kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayana kale chakhatam geyosi niyatatmabhi. O Madhusudan, what is Adiyagya in this body? How do the self-controlled get to know thee at the time of their departure from this world? Shri Bhagavan Uvach. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavodhyatmam Uchyate Bhuta Bhavod Karo Visarga Karma Samgitaha. The Supreme Lord said, the eternal and unchangeable principle of Akshara is Parabrahma. Parabrahman, the Supreme Personality. The Jiva, devoid of all worldly dross, is known as Adhyatma. The principle of gift and sacrifices, resulting in the production and growth of all beings, sentient and insentient, is designated as karma. Explanation. The Supreme Lord said, the eternal and unchangeable principle of Akshara is Parabrahman. By Parabrahman is to be understood not the attributeless, impersonal, abstract Brahman of the Jnanins, nor the all-pervading oversoul Paramatman of the Yogins, but my eternal, all-being, intelligence, blissful Shama Sundar form. Means Satchit Ananda. Our Parangurudev said, all existence, all knowledge, all bliss. Here, this Maharaj is translating as all being, intelligence, bliss. Satchidananda Shama Sundar form. By Adhyatma is meant not the eternal function, but unalloyed entity, the Jiva, devoid of all mundane touch. The gross and the subtle body of a Jiva accrue from karma, which binds the Jiva to the world. Hence, karma may be described as the seed cause of a Jiva's coming into this world. Seed cause. When Jiva misuses her relative independence on a marginal plane, at that time she is not in karma. But the root cause of karma is this: misuse of free will and forgetfulness of Krishna, then getting false ego, and immediately karma starts from subtle and gross body and misidentification with them. Adibhutam ksharo bhava purushascha dhidaivatam adhyagyoham evatra dehe deho britambara. The changeable and perishable is known as kshara bhava or adibhuta. Adideva means the universal Virat Purusha, or the presiding deity of the gods and of the senses, universal form. Adi Yagya refers to the indwelling guide of the jivas known as Antarjami, Hrishikesh, who goads them to Yagya karma and is a partial aspect of me, means Paramatma. Who gives the results of Yagya, that is Paramatma Antarjami, because he's inside. Antakale chamam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra sangshayaha. He who recalls me in his mind at the time when he breathes his last undoubtedly attains me. In other words, he who remembers me, the Supreme Lord, possessing transcendental knowledge regarding my name, form, attributes, and sports, surely attains to my lotus feet in the blissful realm. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam tam eveiti kaunteya sadatad bhava bhavitaha. Whoever passes away meditating on a particular being or thing at the time of his death attains or goes forth to that being or thing because of his constant contemplation on the same. Then in brackets, it may be said, therefore, that the present life of a being is a resultant of the thoughts and ideas of his past life that were predominant at the time of his death. The case of Mahatma Bharata is an apt illustration. That is why something I will enjoy now, but when the time of death will come, then I will think of Krishna. It will not be possible. Because whatever is your predominant thought, and according to your action and what you were practicing during your life, that will come at that time. So if we start practicing now, then we may be able to remember him at that time. Not that you will just choose, okay, now I will remember Krishna. Then Krishna is telling, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha mayarpita mano buddhir Mam evaishyasya sangshayaha. So fix your mind and attention on me at all times and under all circumstances, and fight the battle, the duty of a kshatriya. Do consecrate your steadied mind and harmonized intelligence to me, your eternal friend, and you will certainly attain to my lotus feet in the blissful realm. I remember when I was totally new in 1999, 1 month and something after my initiation, I was in Chandigarh Mat because Gurudev's Vyasa Puja was observed there, Ram Navami, and then Gurudev did Punjab tour. To many different places he went, and Gurudev told me he will go to many places, but it may be some difficulty for me because of accommodation and all these things, so I can stay here in Chandigarh Mat and come for those prominent programs. So as per Gurudev's instruction, I stayed there, and we went with the devotees on like Jalandhar Nagar Sankirtan, and then Harikatha of Gurudev, and Ropar, Hoshiarpur, Ludhiana, and maybe some. We went with the bus from Chandigarh and returned back same day. So I remember when I was in our Chandigarh Mat and I was in a room alone. Then one day Nishkinchan Maharaj, Gurudev's god brother, very dear, he asked me, why you are alone in the room? Why you are not associating with other devotees? What you are doing in your room alone? I said, I'm chanting and I'm reading books. Then immediately he asked me, what are the 10 offenses to holy name? Then as far as I could remember, I start to slowly explain this offense, and then thinking and that offense, and like this. Then he said, you read carefully this about 10 offenses. You have to very carefully read, and remember, tomorrow I will ask you again. So then really I went and I was studying very deeply about 10 offenses, because it is important to know. Gurudev explained at the time of Harinam initiation, and that is very important to know so that you can avoid committing those offenses. You have to know what is displeasing to Krishna. Gurudev said that most serious are criticizing devotees through whom glories of holy name are spread in this world, and to criticize Guru, bona fide Guru. These two are very serious. Others are not so much, these two. So I have to be very careful about these two. Gurudev told me at the time of initiation. So then I memorized. I was studying very deeply, and I memorized 10 offenses, and I was waiting when he will ask me, but he did not ask me. But his purpose was fulfilled, because he wanted me that I should learn. And since that time, I can say clearly which are the 10 offenses. So then also, when we were going with bus to some place, he would sit next to me in the bus, and he would explain to me Bhagavad Gita in the bus. He was having great liking for Gita, and also to explain it to others. So he was explaining to me different points from Gita on the bus, and this point I remember the most of all. He told me that Krishna said in Gita, whoever will remember him at the time of death, surely he will attain. Then he told me, but how do we know when we will die? We don't know. So then Krishna says, you remember me at all times. So Nishkinchan Maharaj, very logically, he explained to me, if we will remember Krishna at all times, then we will also remember him at the time of death. I still remember, very clearly I remember this point. That is the point we have to remember at the time of death. But when it will come, you don't know. So better you always remember. So if you always remember, also you will at the time of death. So you start